the deeper meaning of sugar cravings. Wouldn't you like to know why those sly cravings kind of sneak in at the end of the day, or sneak in at midnight, or whenever they sneak in? Most times people say that their sugar cravings sneak in around late afternoon and early evening and go on all through the evening. Now, there are several reasons why our sugar cravings and our cravings do that. Basically, because we've been running on empty all day long, being stressed and harassed and running around and doing everything for everyone else, means that it uses up so much of our mental energy. It uses up so much energy. We go into this fight and flight and freeze mode, which uses up all our available energy. It kills all the natural bacteria in our digestion and in our gut, which makes our whole body just go, we need some more fuel. We're running on empty. We cannot see our way to the end of the day without giving ourselves another turbo boost of fuel. And because most of us have been brought up to live on sugars, we are ending up eating and craving sugars because that's at the moment the only way that we understand how our body works. So what are we going to be doing differently from now on? First of all, you really need to know what kind of other fuel systems there are and how you can change your fuel system over. Also, being able to trigger those kind of sugar cravings into that fuel system that is just not working for you anymore. So the deeper meanings behind the sugar cravings really come from a lot of what goes on in the reptile brain. There are three particularly bad things to do with sugar cravings, and a lot of it comes from the fact that we're scared, we're in fearful mode, even if that means to do with work deadlines, even if that means to do with, oh gosh, watching a horror film, even if that means that you are in confrontation with somebody, that there's a fear, and it's like, I'm either going to have to run like crazy, I'm going to have to fight like mad, or I'm frozen, I can't do anything. Your body has a natural system that it goes into. It goes into the reptile brain, which basically says, I have to protect you, I have to get you out of here. So it's going to be asking you to use up all the fuel that you've got, but it pumps it from your liver, it pumps it from the organs, and it brings it out to your extremities, your muscles, so that you're able to sort of run and fight, and otherwise it has you down into lockdown. If this is going on for you, if you're kind of in stress mode an awful lot during the day, from confrontations, from deadlines, from running around and doing so much for other people, then this is why you are being asked by your body and your mind, because your mind and your body do need an element of sugar, they do need fuel, and the more you take fuel out, the more she's going to crave it. That's another story altogether. But you've used up all your immediate sources, and sugar has this energy that's kind of like, it's immediate. It's immediate. As soon as you've eaten sugar or something like that, it's like boom, you know, like a turbo boost. And that's what she's doing for you. Like, if you can't get it during the day when you're having those kind of moments, you're going to be asked to take it on later and in the day, especially if every single day, every single week is rolling over like that. And you have these powerful moments when you need a lot of energy, a lot of concentration, and your mind uses up an awful lot of your fuel, your immediate fuel. If your body feels that, in your reptile brain, remember, if your reptile brain feels that you're under this much pressure continually, she will be continually trying to boost your energy up. The only thing is, we take in so much energy and we don't use it in kind of in the running process, or we don't spend that kind of energy, we use it up in our mental energy, then it kind of sits in the body, especially if it's been pumped out via adrenaline and it's been pumped out from all your organs and things, and it's like sitting in your muscles. It's like, now what? If it's been going into your head, then you can crazily right away and you can think quite immediately, but it doesn't have a very long lasting effect. That's why you end up waking up ravenous, or you're ravenous by the evening. Sugar cravings, there is a deeper meaning because of what's been going on during the day, what you're not able to cope with or what you're not dealing with very well. There's a level of inner strength that we need to be able to craft for ourselves so that we can cope with certain situations just a wee bitty bit better, so that we're not using up and we're not having to demand all this stuff every now and again. If you have certain symptoms, by the way, it is because your fuel system is off and you really don't do very well running just on the sugars for your fuel system. There is a better fuel system for you that I've devised and I'm working through and I'm testing out, and I've tested on hundreds of ladies so far about how your body actually works, which is working out what your triggers are, but actually what better fuel system there is for you. The kind of symptoms are bloated belly, gas, irritable bowel, constipation, diarrhea, but you know, that kind of the bloated, the wind that kind of is created by eating this kind of way, this kind of sugar, and the foods that create a lot of changes in your bacterial system, create a lot of gas in your digestion system. And that's what will cause embarrassing bloating. So like you put something on in the morning and by the evening it's like, oh hell, that doesn't fit anymore. I'm going to have to undo these buttons. It's the sugar that does that. And it's not just immediate fat. It's the blowing out. It's the gas. It's the wind. Not only that, but it's really uncomfortable. Very, very painful to have that kind of wind. And it can be very embarrassing and loud and uncontrollable. Running upstairs, those kind of things. It doesn't work out well for you. So those are some of the symptoms. Other symptoms would be you're on an emotional roller coaster. You cry at the drop of a hat, or you get angry at the drop of a hat. These like mood swings that sort of come and go are as a result of having too much of this kind of energy in your body. Sugar energy is very spiked. It's kind of like really high peaks and very low drops. What we want is a longer term sugar, a longer term fuel that lasts you for longer during the day. So you kind of go, do you know what? I'm actually not that hungry. I really don't feel that hungry. But when you eat sugar, because it's so immediate, gives you the energy now, and then you're left kind of feeling really empty. So another symptom is that you feel really exhausted after eating. That's a big telltale sign that your fuel system is not working very well for you. If you're tired and you're having poor sleep, you can't get to sleep very well, or you're waking up exhausted, or you wake up in the middle of the night with your mind racing. Again, a lot of that is to do because you're having stimulants. Sugar is a stimulant. You have no desire to exercise at all because you're absolutely exhausting. One thing I learned years ago when I used to go do a lot of water skiing and being very active at the weekends, you could be mentally tired and that will just drain you physically. But doing something very, very physical and not being mentally tired, you still have energy to do things. You can still think straight. But basically when you're running on that kind of fuel system, you're empty in a lot of ways. You don't have the desire or the motivation or the energy to spend anything on motion, on movement, something that would absolutely give you so much fulfillment. You just don't have the energy to do it. So if you're craving sugars and they sort of like, when do they come in for you? When do they come in for you? Basically, most of my ladies, it's to do with like 5, 6 o'clock at night time. They need something to push them through to the end of the day. Now, when you are having a craving, there is something very good to know about that. It is your body telling you, come on, woman, come on, girl, there's just something else you need. There's something else going on here that I need more energy. I need more fuel. Where's the sweetness in my life? Do you know what? You can break any craving. You can break a sugar craving in 3 days. 3 days you can break any craving you like. Isn't that amazing? Physically, you can break that. You can adjust your taste buds. You can adjust your gut bacteria. You can adjust your desires for that kind of food in 3 days. Mentally, if we don't change and rewire our mind, look at the perspectives, help ourselves to sort of chill out and put ourselves first, second and third, that won't change. Those sugar cravings will come back in because they're coming back in for a completely different reason other than our physical needs. Isn't that interesting? 3 days to change a craving, but it doesn't actually work for us full term because we need to be able to change our perspective and start doing things very differently so that we don't have those sugar cravings. And I had a lady the other day and she was saying to me, I'm doing badminton, 2 hours of badminton on a Monday and Thursday now. I can't believe it. I've got so much energy. And this week, after doing my badminton session, I still hadn't used up all the energy. I had so much more energy running on this new fuel source from this body code system that we were talking about. I had to go for a long walk and I ended up jogging. Oh my God, I've never been like that in my life. You know, I don't run, I don't do exercise, I don't go to the gym. This is amazing, it's incredible. I love it. Remember that myself, it took me a little while before I realized my body's asking me to spend energy. My body wants to move, my body wants to go for a run. There are deeper meanings behind the sugar cravings. And if we could just understand all the things that trigger off those sugar cravings, the symptoms are a great indicator that there is something going on in the background that you can change in a heartbeat. I've got a 7-day sugar-free eating challenge. 7-day sugar-free eating challenge. Oh, there's a word, there's a sentence all on its own. And we're going to be covering what's going on in the background. We're going to helping you to alleviate those symptoms. We're going to be helping the starvation because you try and go cold turkey on the sugar, but that doesn't work because you haven't altered your fuel system. We're going to be looking at reprogramming and rewiring this reptile brain so that she's not on fight and flight and freeze all the time. And we're going to be teaching you ways how you can seriously put yourself first, second and third and become a very beautiful, selfish kind of woman who puts herself in the foreplay, in the front, you know, putting herself in priority. When that's all done, you will be a woman winning against the sugar cravings, which means you'll be winning against all the symptoms that sugar has on you, not just sort of like making you look older, be so tired, be so grumpy and moody and belly bloat and constipation and diarrhea and all those kind of things, but it will change you radically, even in 7 days. Join me on the 7-day sugar cap challenge because it's going to be an absolute hoot trying to find out what's going on in the background and just resetting everything in 3 days to do with your physical symptoms, and then also working on just dissolving all the perspectives and all the perceptions about why we think we need or why our body is demanding so much sugar. I'm Fiona Robertson. I am a body whisperer and I am a body renewer, helping you to just feel so much better without sugar, especially over these next 7 days. I'm going to be starting on the 1st of July. Join me and you can be free of the sugar cravings and knowing exactly why you have been called to eat so much sugar in the past. Let's let all that go, dissolve it away. Hope this has been helpful. Let's see what we can do differently in 7 days.